Happy New Year! Shaz here, and we are back for another To Buy or Not to Buy. In these videos, I talk about new makeup and I try to talk myself out of buying anything that is releasing on camera. The goal of these videos is to inspire you to also say no to the makeup that's releasing. You don't need so much makeup. You can probably dupe a lot of these. You probably already have a dupe of a lot of these. And instead, let's opt for what you already own, which is what I'm gonna do. If that sounds good, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and let's jump into the video. I have coffee and a candle. Remains to be peppermint frost. It's very gloomy and overcast here in Austin. It's gonna be going into the freezing. So winter's coming. Okay, winter's coming, and I am going to use this one. And yes, I know I told you all that I'm not going to be duping this palette, but hey, girl can't control herself. I forget the name of this palette. This is the collab between Bella Beaute Bar and Sassy Fairies. Gorgeous palette. Obviously, I couldn't control myself, but to dupe it. I was out of the country and I'm so excited to be back. I'm gonna probably make a video about where I was. Hint, hint, I was in Australia again. And some of the stuff I purchased when I was there and some other details. If there's any particular thing you wanna know, you can ask in the comments below. And during the time that I was away, and this video is gonna come up because I promised you all that I will do the unboxing on camera for these, I received my Cleona advent calendar. Swatches and unboxing videos will be coming, and I think these will be coming to their collection, their permanent collection. I'm pretty sure on the eyeshadow front, but even for the nail polish front, what they did last year was that they released some of these, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. Some of these shades, like this one, what is the name? Tangled Tinsel. It's so gorgeous. Like, they should release these. Cleona, if you're watching these, you should release these in your permanent collection. But if you want to know my opinion, that video is coming. There's also going to be a lot of dupes, including a dupe of this beauty that will be coming. Stay tuned for all of that. Let's jump in. I'm going to jump in with this first one because, hey, y'all, I'm so excited. I mean, I kind of knew this is going to happen, but I'm definitely excited. So last year we had the first Twilight movie collab with Colourpop, and this year we're having New Moon, which is the second movie. I duped that first palette. The duping video is on. I did looks with it. I watched the whole darn series to be able to do the dupe. I have a feeling to dupe the second one, I'm gonna have to rewatch the series because I've already forgotten. And yes, definitely duping, although I haven't seen the palette. To Colourpop, you better do good on this, okay? You better give us something that inspires me to dupe. But I'm excited. So this is going to be available on the 9th. Also, I have some plans for extending my no-buy. For any of you who are new, first of all, welcome to my channel. I'm excited you found me online, but I was on a no-buy for a portion of last year, and then I extended it into a low buy, so I gave myself a set budget. There's going to be plans for 2025. Stay tuned for the video. And without revealing too much about that plan, I can already tell you that there's going to be a lot of duping happening. And maybe some singles purchased. We have this one from Viseart, very neutral palette, and gigantic. Nobody needs this many very similar shades. As if that wasn't bad enough, this palette is $150. I think Viseart palettes, and it looks like this would be, I think they're magnetic or whatever, you can pull the pans out. Otherwise, I would just be like, you've lost your mind, Viseart. Like, nobody's gonna use this as a single palette. Unless you're a makeup artist. Unless you're a makeup artist, otherwise, these many shades that are so similar are not gonna look that different on your eye from an arm's length. Okay, let's jump into the bouge. We have this palette releasing from Tom Ford for $100. $100, beauties, for an all shimmer palette. And I can't guarantee that the top 2 shimmers are gonna look too different on your skin. I don't have swatches, but they look pretty similar. This is gonna be, what, $25 a pan? You could buy probably the best multichromes on the market for less than that. Not even on a sale. You can even get them for way cheaper on a sale. Why would you opt for a Tom Ford shade instead? I don't know. Maybe you're missing using these beautiful applicators, you know, because they work really, really well. I don't know what's going on with these prices. As if that wasn't bad enough, we have this one, yes. The love season is across the corner. This one is a little bit cheaper, $95. No. And clarifying beauties, the purpose of these is not to send hate to the brand. I just can't really understand the prices these days because my salary hasn't gone up. I mean, frankly, I don't even have a job right now, but when I did have a job, my salary wasn't going up every year. So how can we justify increasing prices on people when their salary remains the same? My salary remaining the same means that my purchase power is reducing when prices are going up. And the first thing people are going to cut out is makeup, because makeup is a luxury. It's not a necessity. I mean, obviously, choosing between grocery and makeup, I would always pick groceries. So I can't understand how the brands are justifying increasing their prices specifically nowadays. We have something from Dia Varun. It is the mini Moth and Moon palette for $60. And it's going to have 6 of their original multichromes and shimmers. Now I have the OG palette for this one and I really like the quality of it. And I like that they have made these magnetic, because the OG palette, when it released, I purchased it. It wasn't magnetic back then, but truly I can't stand behind a $60 price tag for this. Although a different interpretation would be $10 a pan, and realistically, if each of these pans is a multichrome, then that might be worth it, because an average multichrome nowadays goes for something between $8 and $20 something. So it's up to you whether this is worth it for you, but I know when I see a $60 6-pan, I would question it. Something is releasing from Lethal on January 9th, and I'm curious to know what it is. Also, some single shadows are releasing from Notoriously Morbid. Not picking anything up, but Notoriously Morbid is on my list of brands to try. Maybe I'll do a video of the brands I would like to try in 2025. If you are interested, ask for it in the comments below. Let me get started on the look. I'm going to start with using Party Proof from Colourpop, and I'm using just generic press-ons. These are from CALA. Somebody gave them to me. The CALA brand that you can find at TJ Maxx here is also sold in Australia at their TK Maxx. So I think these might have been from there. Somebody just gave me these when I was there. And I like these because they're just very generic. You all know I love using press-ons, and there are some press-ons I purchased from Australia. We'll talk about them in a separate video. And now that we're talking about nail polish, this is not a recent release, but because I haven't talked about it, I have to talk about it. I saw this release from Mooncat, and I love the shades in this collection. They're totally me, all of them. And I kind of want to put myself on a no-buy for nail polish also. If you don't remember, I had unlimited nail polish budget, and I feel like I moved my interest in buying makeup to substituting that with buying nail polish. So I bought probably more nail polish than I needed last year. The couple that sparked my interest even more, one, I don't know the names, but I can tell you which ones they are. One is the very glitter heavy bluish silvery one, because I don't think I have anything similar to that. The other one is the red with a silver strike. I don't have anything like that either, particularly if they look like what you see on camera. And then that magnetic blue with red particles. Although I did buy a Cadillacer. This one, this is We Are the Ones Who Will Dwell Within. This is a magnetic. Let me see if I can magnetize it for you all. Yeah, so maybe this could be a substitute, but I don't think it's that similar. So I love nail polish. So beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, don't need the whole box, but once they have a sale, they have a sale later in the year. Once they have a sale, I'm gonna put these on my wish list and, you know, consider picking them up. Let's get started with the look. I'm guessing this is gonna be a very blue heavy look because of the color story here. Also, the name of the palette that I had forgotten is Realm of Fairies. I'm getting started with this brush, going into the Periwinkle shade and putting it all over my lid. I'm gonna mix these two shades. They both have a lot of kick ups, so let's diffuse it on my hand. I don't want this to be super purple or blue, but more of a muted down shade. Muted shades usually have gray mixed with the pigment, which is why I'm calling this a muted shade, because I mixed it with gray. Let's continue. We have this palette from a Ladybug Glow that I don't think I've talked about. Interesting concept, pretty neutral leaning. I can definitely dupe it, so not interested. This should already be available. I think it released in December. It has 7 mattes, 1 matte with sparkles, 2 multichromes, and 2 duochromes. Ladybug Glow is also a brand that I would like to try at some point, but I don't think this is the palette for it. There was also this one from Mika Beauty Shop. When I saw this palette, it reminded me of Vamp from Bella Beaute Bar, which I have already duped in this channel, so was not interested. But Mika Beauty Shop is a brand I like. I think they have pretty good quality, so I do follow what they're releasing. I just don't think this is the palette for me. And again, I am right now on sort of a no buy, potentially low buy, more dates to come, but you know, I'm very picky in what I need, and palettes that look like, oh, I could dupe this very easily are not gonna make the cut. I don't think I got to talk about this one from Pastel Roses UK. Clearly not a palette for me because this looks pretty passé. Looks a lot like a few things that Colourpop released in 2020 or 2021. So yeah. And then these two from MBA, interesting concepts, Cursed Moon and Moonlight Realm. Not sure why these are releasing this late. It feels like these should have released around Halloween, which is more than 2 months ago. Some of the shades in this palette, if they really and truly look like that, look gorgeous. But I have a feeling I probably have a dupe for them in my extremely extensive collection. So passing. The green one could arguably be a palette for spring. Maybe they should have changed the name to something more springy and released it for that. And these are each $46. Yeah, that's where we're going, friends. I remember a day when a 9-pan from Colourpop was $9. In fact, I think at some point it was even less. And you could get it in a sale for $7. Now, these do claim to have 1 multichrome each, but why not use some of your Colourpop palette, rearrange them, and if you're missing the multichrome, just buy 1 multichrome and substitute that shade. Back in here, I'm gonna mix these two. I'm doing my lower lash line Ace is a brand I've used a lot. I like their matte quality. Their shimmer quality is okay. I wouldn't say it's the best shimmer quality I've used, and you know, these are going to be standard shimmers. It's not going to be probably duochromes nor multichromes, and their prices are pretty reasonable. So this palette goes for $40, which honestly, for a 15-pound palette nowadays, that looks like a fantastic price. However, I don't need this. All of these shades exist in the Ace Beaute palettes that I already own, and I like using them, and I do reach for them. And we have this from Essence. This is called the Art Gallery Pop Art Eyeshadow and Eyeliner Palette. It seems like there are 2 water-activated liners here and 22 eyeshadow shades. And this palette, unlike everything else we've been talking about, goes for only $15. And although I don't need it, honestly, just because of the price and because I do want to try Essence eyeshadow at some point, I want this palette. It's just that I don't know where to get my hands on this. Some people tell me Essence is sold at Walmart. I've never seen it at the Walmarts near me. I'm gonna probably pop into an Ulta. We have a few pop single extreme multichromes released from Cryptane. These look a lot based on the images I've seen, like the Fantasy 2.0 collection of Shine by SD. So, you know, I feel like I have something already similar to them, but maybe I'll try them at some point. These would be the type of things I wouldn't mind spending money on. And they are $15 each or $50 for the bundle. They would make them $12 each. I'm gonna put some specular before applying shimmer on my eyes. And I want to go into this one. For this one, I used a beautiful, beautiful, unfortunately hard to get your hands on single from Luxie, which looks like an extreme metallic duochrome. And I'm going to put it here. The video where I dupe this palette isn't posted at the moment, but I will tag it as soon as it becomes available below if you want to know what shades I'm using. And I'm purposefully going a little bit beyond where I want the shimmer to be, because tapping a little bit of shimmer above makes it look like there are some glitters up here also. And I like that. We have this palette called Memoir, releasing from Beauty Moon. Interesting. I would be curious to know how the marble shades swatch like. You all know how I feel about marbles. They might not look at all like what you see in the pan because of color theory. And if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, you can check out my color theory videos. I'll tag my color theory playlist in the comments below. It's just 2 videos at the moment, but you know, mixing and matching colors might give you a completely different effect from what you think it's going to give you. And then I'm going to go into this shade with a very small brush, and I'm putting this in the inner corner area and then bringing it under. I'm very much liking the look. Like all videos, I'm going to bring the camera closer at the end to show you the look from close up. This next thing that I want to talk about, I noticed I've never talked about, and I'm surprised that it is still available on Glamlight's website, is their Haunted Holiday Box. And I'm guessing this is just another name for a mystery bundle. I believe everything that's in here is stuff they already had. We all know how I feel about that. If you don't, I have a video about it. I'll tag below. I've never personally had any luck with any mystery bundle. Marginal luck at best, if I want to give it a lot of credit. More credit than it's probably deserves. Now, this is not to say this box isn't going to be amazing. I have no idea, but I personally wouldn't go order a box of products that, frankly, a brand is trying to get rid of because they couldn't sell. And when they tell you it's $140 value, should I tell you all how I feel about that? Remember this from now on. Anytime a brand tells you the value is whatever, but you're getting it for this price, all that means is they could have sold that product for that price. Could have. Does not mean people would have purchased it for that price. Only means they could have just arbitrarily chosen a higher number, but they decided not to. I would imagine in case of a mystery bundle, they're just adding the original price of the products. Doesn't mean people would have bought those products at that price. Otherwise, a lot of them would not be in a mystery bundle. I already have a video on mystery bundles that I made a few years ago, tagged below, but if you all want me to go in more detail about some of these marketing gimmicks, let me know. I can make a separate video about that. Now, most of what we talked about were stuff I was not interested in. Here is something I am actually curious about, and I'm waiting to see. This one, sneak peeked from Simply Posh. They have mentioned the Cozy Cabin is going to make a return, and they're going to have this palette. And although I have mentioned in my video where I did a fast review of brands, also video tagged, I mentioned that, you know, I was not very lucky with a lot of Simply Posh shimmers. I realized because their palettes are all magnetic and I like their mattes, I reach for them a lot. A whole lot when I'm duping palettes. You all have seen me use them in my duping videos. So I perhaps switched my position on Simply Posh a little bit. It is, I've mentioned to you all. And if you're a brand watching this, palettes being magnetic can be a make or break decision for me if I'm thinking about buying something. Like, I would opt for not buying something even if I love all of the shades in it, even if they are all super special, if the palette's not magnetic, because it's just too much work to have to pull the pans out and stick a magnet at the bottom or whatever to be able to use them in other palettes. And it's so not worth it because there are so many magnetic palettes, so many amazing brands out there. There is no reason to, you know, pay for palettes that are not magnetic. There are so many options. And beauties, with that, we come to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed and you watched this far, you should subscribe. I highly recommend it. I do a lot of videos like this, and you are going to see my to buy or not to buy playlist recommended to you if you want to continue watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and until next time, again, Happy New Year. Bye.